So I thought it's about time for a little bit of a channel update because my videos have been a bit thin on the ground recently. And that's just because since I came back from my Hebrides trip, I've just been sort of full tilt at getting our house ready for sale, and we're still in the midst of buying another house as well. So it's just all a bit up in the air at the moment. So you just have to bear with me until normal service can resume. In the meantime, I have a trip to Ireland coming up, so that should allow me to produce quite a few videos, or at least a few videos, until I can get back to it properly. So the eagle-eyed of you will have noticed that Donkey is back. He sat for about 6 months in the lock-up place with the flat rear tyre, just because for all the good design that went into that bike, Royal Enfield have made it almost impossible for a person on their own to remove the rear wheel and put it back on. It was really hard, and it required a lot more patience than I naturally have, and a lot of swearing to get that wheel back on once I've got it fixed. Eventually, somehow, I lucked out and I got that wheel back on the bike, and then I proceeded to break the bike again, because I have been for the past year plagued with tendinitis. Through no scientific research, I decided that it was the Enfield that was doing it. Something about the ergonomics of that bike and me, and it was just tweaking my arm in a way that was causing a bit of tennis elbow. I wanted to change the handlebars on this because I don't want to get rid of the bike. So it is a good bike, and I just thought if I just change the handlebar position, that might sort it all out, and it seems to have worked. But it's been such a drama getting these new handlebars on. So the handlebars are from Hitchcock's, and the first set they sent me had almost no knurling on them, and then that coupled with the really poor handlebar clamp design on this bike just meant there was no way of tightening it enough where the handlebars wouldn't move. And that also led me to realise that the metals in this bike are not the best quality going, because I managed to snap the head off the bolt with just a normal ratchet wrench, which I didn't even put that much force into it, and the head just pinged off, which was my first problem as I was trying to clamp down the bars. So eventually I managed to back that bolt out, got a new one, and I also got some new handlebars with better knurling. Put that all together, put the new bolt in, snap the head off it again. Now I'm not He-Man, so this kind of like makes me feel, this reminds me a lot. I used to, in my 20s, I used to drive nothing but sort of like 70s practical classics, so like Minis and Spitfires and things like that. And if you've ever owned a British Leyland Mini, I'm sure a lot of you have, you'll know that those particular batch of Minis were really blighted by rust, and I believe that's because British Leyland bought in the metals for those cars, I think from Poland, and it was a really poor quality metal made up of all sorts of recycled crap. So it was kind of like the kebab of metals, and because of that, whenever water touched those metals, they just dissolved. I kind of get the feeling that part of how this classic 350 is so cheap is because the metal quality is quite bad, I think. So we'll see how this bike fares over time. So yeah, so I snapped it off the first time, new handlebars, put that on, snapped it off again, except this time the bolt had gone in slightly at an angle and had just gotten completely wedged in there. So there was no way of getting it out in a normal means, and tried lots of different ways. My last ditch resort was to drill it out, and in doing that I managed to just completely mangle the top triple tree, because that's where it actually bolts into. So I had to, there was no way of fixing that. I had to buy a new top triple tree clamp, take the whole top of the bike off, replace the clamp, and then put the new bars with some new bolts that I bought from B&Q. So they don't look the prettiest, but I'm pretty sure they're better than the marshmallow bolts that were there in the first place. And then put it all back together, and then I had another headache because Hitchcock sold the bar saying that you don't need to replace any cables, they're long enough. The clutch cable, 100% not long enough, so I had to, got it all fitted, realised that actually the clutch cable wasn't working properly, it was just too stretched out, so got a new cable, put that on, and it seems to be working now. And what a difference it makes. I think these bars, I wish they'd made this bike like this. This is the comfiest bike ever now. just that little bit of pullback on the bars, and I'm more upright, and my little short T-Rex arms can actually fit this bike properly now. It's really comfy, and as much of a pain in the arse as it was to do, I'm super glad that I did it.
So just to give a quick rundown of the parts that I've changed on Donkey now that it's all in its final shape almost. The aftermarket parts that are on the bike now, obviously I've got the nice pullback handlebars from Hitchcock's. I've got cheapo eBay mirrors. They are at the moment quite useless, but I've got a plan for those. I've got my screen, my AF Ashai number 99 mini screen, which may or may not stay on the bike, I don't know yet. I quite like it in a weird way. The spotlight, which is probably the thing that people ask the most about. It's a Lumax unit from the 1970s. It's an old car fog light. So a lot of people asking me to give them a link on where you can buy that. And quite honestly, beyond giving you a link to eBay, I don't know. I don't know how available they are outside of the UK because it's a UK light made probably in the 70s. And I just happen to wire it up in such a way that it works with this bike. You know, if you want one, I guess you just go on eBay and have a look for vintage spotlight or something. You might find something similar. Once again, like I have on my T120, I've gotten Tom Hurley Customs to make me a custom seat for the bike, which I think just looks perfect, and it's really comfy as well. I think that's it. I think that's all I have on the bike now. Just the seat, the light, handlebars, and the levers, mirrors, screen, and I got the Royal Enfield Tripper nav as well, because whilst I had the whole front of the bike off, I decided that, you know, I may as well just fit the nav unit. It's supposed to be there. For whatever reason, they decided to ship the bikes without them, but it's clearly meant to go in there. You know, it makes me feel better that little bit of the bike that was missing, and just they'd obviously put a cheap plastic cover on it, is now got the part that it was supposed to have on it. And so that's it. So that is my very lightly customized Classic 350 that I'm going to keep. I have absolutely no plans on selling it, not yet anyway. And yeah, it's a cracking little bike. Anyway, that's it for now. All that's left is to get back on the bike, go for a little ride and get home before it starts raining.